Have you ever wondered what you can expect to see in the purchase contract for a new home? Well, buying a home is incredibly exciting. Sometimes stressful. We try to make it not stressful. We want it to be all exciting for you. But sometimes people do get overwhelmed. After all, it is one of the biggest purchases you're ever going to make. Now, for many home buyers, this is especially true when it comes to reading and understanding the purchase contract for a new home. I don't want you to worry, however. Today we're going to dive in and explain exactly what you should expect to see in your purchase contract. Whether you're buying your first home or it's your fifth, understanding this contract is a critical part of the process. Happy Red Friday, by the way. Down in the right of your screen, please click on that subscribe or follow, that like button. We want you to be with us every single Friday, and by doing that, you're going to be one of the first people to know when these videos go live. And if you don't know, we wear red every Friday here at Low VA Rates because it is our way of showing support for the military. We definitely support our military. Like I said, today we're going to talk about the purchase contract, okay? And in the industry, sometimes we refer to that as a REPC, okay? But that is the purchase contract. REPC stands for Real Estate Purchase Contract, REPC, okay? Essentially, the purchase contract is a legally binding agreement to buy a property under certain conditions that are outlined in that contract. Some other names it goes by: purchase agreement, real estate sales contract, purchase contract. At the end of the day, it's that word contract that gets people a little concerned, because when you enter a contract, you have to abide by it. Now, the buyer is typically the one proposing conditions of the sale, which is why their real estate agent is usually the one that puts it together. The seller then has the opportunity to review all of these proposals in the contract, often referred to as offers, and the seller can either agree, reject, or they can counteroffer by renegotiating certain aspects of the contract. I'm speaking primarily today to the buyer, but if you're watching this as a seller, you should learn quite a bit about this too, because now you're going to be in the head of people that are coming to buy your home. So please keep watching, but this is more geared towards if you're the buyer. If you're the buyer, you're going to sign the REPC, the contract, when you submit the offer on the home. The seller is either going to sign it if they agree to it, or once you guys all come to an agreement, they will sign it. Once both signatures are on there, we're live, right? We're under contract if the negotiations go the way that both parties want. Now, how long is it and what should be included? Well, REPC requirements can vary from state to state, which means I'm not going to give you a black and white answer on the standard page count or how long this contract should be, but we'll get into some things that maybe you could expect to see. However, it is legally binding, and it should cover every aspect of the home sale, so read it carefully. Now, you might imagine when I use words like every aspect, that could mean a lot of stuff. Okay, so it's typical that it's going to be multiple pages long. Some are more simple than others. It just depends. But be prepared to see multiple pages. There's sections throughout these pages, so it's not like it's all densely packed into one long, encyclopedia of information. You're going to look for sections. So let's talk about some of these sections. There's the buyer and seller information section. There's the property details section, which is going to include things like the address of the property, the exact condition of the property. Something that most people are interested in is the purchase price and financing details. Okay, so again, we're talking about different sections. There's different sections. One that I just want to asterisk or highlight is the purchase price, okay, and financing. That's where people kind of get caught up. When we're negotiating back and forth in a market like this, it comes down to price a lot of times. Financing details are also important, but look out for this section. Now, there's normally a section about what appliances are in the house, if they're going to stay there or not, what fixtures might be included. Imagine if you walk through a home that you want to buy, you see all these amazing light fixtures and everything, and you don't look closely enough. You think you're getting a couple $100,000 of extremely nice light fixtures, and then you realize that in the contract it said they were going to strip all those out before you moved in. That's why you want to read all these sections. There's also closing dates and when you can take possession, right? Deadline dates when things have to happen. You're going to see sections about earnest money, deadlines on when the earnest money goes hard, when you have to have your financing approved. All of these sections will be in there. Another area that a lot of people like to look at is the closing cost section, because here's where, especially on VA loans, it indicates who's paying for what closing costs, if there's going to be any seller concessions, all of that. Other sections might include areas where there's conditions that allow for the contract to be canceled. Now, any conditions the sale will be dependent on, these are often referred to as contingencies. We have a whole video on contingencies. Look in your contract for the contingencies. And again, side note, you're working with a real estate agent, I hope. As the buyer, it costs you nothing to work with a real estate agent. They can handhold you and walk you through the contract. But it's important that you read the contract in its entirety before you run out and sign it. And your agent would tell you the same thing. Now, if there's something that you don't understand or you're not sure about, once again, your real estate agent is there to help you. They should be able to explain clearly what everything means and how it's going to impact you once the offer becomes accepted and when that contract becomes binding. Now, once you understand the contract and you agree to it, you sign it, okay? And then your agent will submit it as an official offer. Let's consider some other things that you want to think about. In addition to making sure all the deadlines in the REPC are realistic for you, you should also make sure that they're realistic for the lender. Low VA rate should be your lender, right? If not, that's okay, but we want to make sure that we can get your financing done in time. If there's a closing date 10 days from now, we're going to tell you, hey, that's impossible. You need to renegotiate that closing deadline so that we can get the financing in place. This is something that a lot of people overlook because the lender sometimes is not directly involved with them. You're excited, your spouse is excited, your kids are excited, your real estate agent wants to make money by finding you a home, and they just blow through this. And then we've got all sorts of problems because you can't control when the closing happens. You gotta communicate with your loan officer. Now, you do have some impact on how quickly we can get your loan closed, such as responding to your loan officer's requests ASAP. Don't let weeks go by without returning their phone call or emailing them back. Also, getting them the documents they want up front, clear and legible documents. The better borrower you are, the more likely we are to be able to hit that closing deadline or even close before that deadline comes to pass. That's why before you sign anything, I remind you, make sure you're speaking with your lender about the deadlines within the contract. If you don't do that and your closing gets delayed, you could be in breach of this contract. And when you're in breach of a contract, you lose money, not to mention sleep and stress and everything else. So, when it comes to buying a home, the real estate purchase contract or the REPC is a very critical part of the process. Make sure you're educated. Watch our videos. Go to our YouTube channel. Get yourself informed like you have by watching this video and get the help from an expert realtor who understands VA financing and an expert lender like Low VA Rates that understands how to get your VA financing in place quickly. Thanks for watching. We're excited to help you when you go to buy your next home. Please reach out and watch us every single Friday. Wear red with us, and we hope you tune in next week.